Hi everybody, this is Dr. Judy Fentress-Williams and I am so excited today. I'm excited because we are coming up on our Faith in Film event, Wakanda Forever, where we will rent out an entire theater so that we can see the new Black Panther film. But I'm really excited today because we have as our special guest, Jesse Holland, who's going to talk with us about the movie. Jesse Holland is an author, a professor, and a political commentator, and the author of Black Panther. Who is the Black Panther? Now, he was commissioned by Marvel to write this book, and so he has a lot of information about T'Chaka, T'Challa, Shuri, and all of them. And he more recently wrote for Marvel, Black Panther, Tales of Wakanda. We thought, in light of the new movie, it would be a great idea to have a little time with you all to give you some background information so you can better enjoy this movie. There's some new characters you may not know about if you're not in the comic book world. And so we want to welcome Jesse Holland. Jesse, thank you.
No, thank you. It's so great to be with someone who's as big a fan of Marvel as I am.
Yes, I really am. And we all know that the Black Panther movie was groundbreaking in so many ways.
Exactly. I mean, this was the first major superhero movie that featured an all African American cast.
Yeah.
Writers, directors, stunt people. I mean, it was groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And it's so great to return to that world of Wakanda.
Yes, so I don't care what anybody says, I say Wakanda is real.
Exactly.
It really is.
Exactly.
And so as we come to this movie, we return to Wakanda.
Right.
And we know that Chadwick Boseman is no longer with us.
Unfortunately.
So T'Challa is no longer going to be the Black Panther.
Right.
So one of the questions that will come up is, who is
the Black Panther?
Who is the Black Panther?
Now, one of the things that we have to keep in mind that Black Panther isn't a name, it's a title. Mm-hmm. It's a title that T'Challa actually got from his father T'Chaka, and it's a lineage that goes all the way back to the first Black Panther, Bashanga. So now that, unfortunately, Chadwick Boseman has passed, so his character T'Challa dies. The question becomes, who picks up that mantle? Who becomes the protector of Wakanda? I think that's what we're going to find out in Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, but who are the candidates?
Okay, so in the comic book realm,
yes,
the title of Black Panther is actually won through ritual combat. So if you saw the first Black Panther movie,
that's right.
That's that fight we saw between Killmonger and T'Challa. That Killmonger actually won the title,
yeah.
Black Panther, through ritual combat. He only didn't keep it because T'Challa didn't die, but he did win it. So now that T'Challa has died, the question becomes, who gets the title now? And just from what we've seen in the trailers, and I promise you, we're trying not to do any spoilers.
That's right.
Just from what we've seen in the trailers, this title change comes in the middle of a war situation. They don't have time to set up ritual combat. So usually the title goes to a family member of the previous Black Panther. Now, T'Challa was the son of the previous Black Panther, T'Chaka. So if T'Challa dies, it stands to reason that a member of his family would most likely become the next Black Panther. And there are some great candidates, but you know what? I would also keep my eye on members of the Dora Mahali. Those are great warriors,
yes.
And I can see them as a protector of Wakanda very easily.
Oh, I am so ready to find out what happens. I really am. So if we think about the identity of the new Black Panther, that's going to be settled fairly early on, I'm going to guess, in the movie. There are some characters in this movie that most people will not be familiar with. So unless you're a comic book head, you don't know this Namor character.
Right. I mean, for those of us who are comic book fans, and if you're not a comic book fan, my question to you is why not? I mean, comic books rule Hollywood right now. Start reading now. But for those of us who are comic book fans, we see the first big screen depiction of Namor the Submariner.
Yes.
Now, for those of us who have been in the comic book world, Namor was the first Marvel superhero.
Yeah.
Going all the way back into the 1930s. He's one of the first characters they came up with.
Yeah.
Just a little tip for you. The first three Marvel characters were Namor, the Human Torch, and Captain America.
Yes.
So we now see Namor on screen for the first time. And we've been begging for this character for years because he's such a cool character. It's so great to see him on screen. And plus, just as they broke ground with having an all African-American cast, with Namor, they're bringing Latin America onto screen for the first time. And it's going to be so great seeing these characters interact with each other.
All right, I'm here for it, but I've got a few more questions about Namor. So one of them is, so I remember in the comic books, Namor's head was almost kind of triangular, like his head was, right? His head was kind of like this.
Basically a square.
Right, and the hair, and it was really kind of weird. But he had wings on his feet. What was that all about?
Okay, so let me tell you a little secret about Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Okay.
We know that Marvel has bought the X-Men movie franchise. But when you see Namor on screen in Wakanda Forever, you'll be seeing your first mutant join the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because technically, Namor the Submariner is a mutant. He's not a mutant because he can breathe underwater. He's actually a half human, half Atlantean hybrid. He's a mutant because he can fly with little ankle wings. And we've seen it in the trailer where he doesn't fly like Iron Man straight ahead. He's going from side to side because his entire body is being propelled by wings on his ankles. Which, I mean, saying it out loud, it makes it sound really goofy, but it's so cool to actually see them stay faithful to the original depiction of this historical Marvel character.
So this is great. So we're going to have Namor. Now, I have another question about Namor. Is he a good guy or is he a villain?
Ooh, that's a very good question. The one that Namor himself has never been able to answer, even in the comic books. When he was first introduced, he fought along Captain America and the Human Torch during World War II against the Nazis. But as the character has developed over the years, he's become sort of an anti-hero because he will attack the surface world because human beings are polluting the ocean and they're polluting the think about if somebody pollutes the air you breathe. Atlanteans breathe water and all of the things that humans are dumping into the ocean, he's attacked the human world several times about pollution. And for those of you who want a little extra homework, in the comic books, Namor actually has attacked Wakanda before. And in the comic books, Namor's attack on Wakanda was the first time Wakanda ever faced defeat in its entire history. And if you go back to the original comic books, Avengers versus X-Men, you'll see a scene that looks very familiar from the Wakanda Forever trailer of Wakanda being flooded. So I'm so excited to see this because we've seen this on paper, but now we're getting to see it on screen, and it's so incredible to see how they're going to pull this off. But I have faith in my people at Marvel because this is going to be fabulous.
So what I love about Marvel's storytelling is that it is subtle and it's complex. Right? So here you have this person who in most circumstances is a good guy, a superhero, and given the right circumstances, like trying to defend my environment, they then become, in another context, the bad guy. So it raises the question of what makes a good guy and what makes a bad guy a bad guy. The other thing I think that's important is for folks to think or to be mindful of the fact that a character like Namor predates Aquaman.
Right? Because I'm already expecting to hear people say online that Namor's just another Aquaman.
No.
Technically, Namor came first. He was created before Aquaman existed. And they both look like they're similar characters. But Namor came first, and he's the original underwater superhero. DC got to screen first with the Aquaman movie. But keep in mind, they're actually doing something really special with Namor. They're bringing in another culture on screen that we haven't seen depicted in a superhero film. Usually when we see Latin American cultures represented on screen, it's more like the culture is dead and Indiana Jones is going through the ruins of it. We're now going to be able to see a living, breathing Latin American culture that also was not destroyed by Europe.
That's right.
And
Beautiful.
So it will be great to see how they do this on screen.
Yes, and I hope these two cultures find a way to get along, because that would be tragic. All right, so now one more question, because there's another character that folks may not know, and that's Ironheart. Tell us about Ironheart.
I'm so excited to see the depiction of Ironheart on film. Now, once again, comic book readers have already met her. She's a 15-year-old black girl from the south side of Chicago. I'm saying that for a particular person from the south side of Chicago who on her own comes up with her own Iron Man suit.
That's right.
She is legitimately one of the smartest people on planet. Now, usually when we see superheroes, they're pretty rich. Iron Man, Tony Stark, comes in with his money. Yeah. Reed Richards has all of his money. T'Challa is rich. Dr. Doom is rich.
Yes.
Riri Williams lives at home with her mom.
Yeah.
Yet, just off her own personal intelligence, is able to put together an Iron Man suit on her own with things she finds. And we get to see her on screen during this film. Now, they're introducing her in Wakanda Forever, just the same way they introduced Black Panther in Captain America Civil War. But she's just not a one-off character. This young black inventor will get her own show on Disney Plus next year. So they're leading her into something greater. They're introducing her in Wakanda Forever, and we'll get to see her further adventures on Disney Plus next year. I'm so glad to see all of these powerful black female characters being featured in this film. Because one of the things that we don't have enough of is black female superheroes. But with Wakanda Forever, we're going to see the rise of a new black, this is not a spoiler, so if you've seen the trailers, we know that the next Black Panther is probably going to be a woman. We get to see the Dora Milaje Warriors again, which, I mean, how you can't get more awesome. And you get the introduction of a brand new black female superhero in Ironheart. What more could you ask for?
I don't know. I'm so happy. So I will say this. One of the reasons I love comic books, and I say this all the time, is that in this alternate universe, very, very real themes get played out. So there's a way in which we talk about art imitating life, but I think what's happening in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that we have art preceding life. It's opening doors. It's helping people imagine themselves in new ways. And so I am so grateful for the work that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is doing.
Yeah, they open up conversations that we might not have been having without the depiction of these characters. In fact, I'm still arguing whether Killmonger was right or not, you know? We're still having those conversations. But we wouldn't have had that conversation without the movie bringing it up, bringing it into a universe where we're all talking about it, not just one or two people sitting in their basement looking at comic books, but now the entire world can have these conversations because of the stories being told through the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I just hope these movies keep going on forever because they're letting us have conversations that frankly are needed.
Well, here's what I think needs to happen. In order for these stories to keep going on forever, we need to make sure that we have really good writers. So I want to thank you for the work you're doing to keep this going. We are so excited about this movie. We can't wait for you to join us. And if you would like to hear more from Jesse Holland, stay tuned because you'll get to see him again in some future programming from the Alfred Street Baptist Church. Jesse Holland, I am such a fan. Thank you so much for spending this time with us.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And of course, it's always great to be with someone who loves Marvel as much as I do.